Well, hello, and welcome to my Service Excellence Experience presentation, Service with a Smile Made Sweeter. As you know, I'm Lorraine Brown, and TOPdesk invited me along today to talk to you about my experiences, my ideas, and my thoughts and my beliefs on service delivery and the service excellence experience. As Georgie said, this is a subject I am quite passionate about, and it's one that I shared with my friends at TOPdesk on more than one occasion. And I find it very easy to talk about service excellence and service delivery, and service excellence and service delivery standards, and usually at great length, but luckily I only have about 30 minutes today. But with time limits in mind, I hope you don't mind if I refer to my notes. This is really necessary because of those of you who know me in the audience know I do have a fondness for talking a lot. So this will make sure that we're not all sitting here at 6 o'clock tonight and I'm still on slide 1. So, the service excellence experience. I would imagine all of us have had a good and bad service experience, and we've all got our own stories to tell about that. So today, I'm going to share some of my stories of my service encounters with you. Good, it worked. So, how do I define service excellence? What is service excellence? And what do I see as being a service excellence experience? Well, before coming to the event today, I polled my team of service managers on their definition of service excellence, as I wanted to hear their views on it. I'm the team manager within the service management section at the university, and the members of my team manage some of the high-profile frontline services for the university, such as the Office 365 platform, our Business Intelligence and Management Information Service, which is often referred to BIMI, our Identity Management System, which manages all of the university accounts, and of course, our Unidesk service, which is a IT service management solution, which is supplied by TOPdesk, but tailored specifically for use within higher education. So service delivery is what we do every day, and we do talk about it a lot. But I'm fairly new to the team. I've only been at the university for about 9 months, and I wanted to hear what a service excellence experience meant to the service managers. So Andrew McFarlane, he manages the university's BIMI service, and Andrew stated that service excellence for him is when the service delivered exceeds what he feels is a standard level of service. Excellence is when Andrew has left the service experience feeling happy and satisfied afterwards. And Matt Belby manages the National Unidesk service. The University of Edinburgh hosts the National Unidesk service for 7 members, and they're all higher educational institutions. So we have St Andrews, Aberdeen, Sheffield Hallam, Ulster, Stirling, and Edinburgh Napier. So Matt approached the service excellence from a different angle. And Matt felt it was when someone knowledgeable could answer his query directly with no escalation required. Matt's definition is when his inquiry was managed and dealt with at his point, or the point of contact. And Chris Mackay, Chris manages the university's identity management system. And he very much agreed along the lines of Andrew and stated that his definition of service excellence was when he received a service over and above the standard. And it's a service that is delivered above what he also expected. And Chris gave me a story to demonstrate his point. And Chris was telling me that he recently visited the Apple store in Edinburgh. He needed a new battery for his laptop. And he explained to the assistant that his battery no longer charged. And they struck up a bit of rapport, and they started sharing their good stories about their favourite Apple products. And Chris did indeed get his new battery, But he also got a new keyboard for his laptop, and he got it all cleaned up, free of charge. The assistant had noticed that Chris's laptop, it was looking a bit tired, and he took the extra step of sprucing it up for him. And this little exchange for a battery led on to that extra action from the assistant and has probably sealed Chris's loyalty to Apple for a lifetime. And it's a story that Chris will be telling for a long time to come. There's very few marketing advertising campaigns that can buy that level of loyalty. And it highlights how the smallest of actions made that biggest of impact. I have to change hands to do the slides. My own definition of service excellence is when I know that regardless of the outcome, the service I received was delivered with me in mind. And it was also delivered with a service-based focus. Like Chris, I've got a wee story to tell you to highlight that. My husband and I, we recently took a trip to Milan, and we booked our flights and our accommodation a few months in advance, and we really were looking forward to it. A couple of weeks prior to our holiday, the hotel we booked with contacted us to ask what temperature we would like our room set up for our arrival, what we would like stocked in our fridge. You could imagine the reaction. We loved it. It made us really happy, and it really added to the build-up of the excitement that we were feeling about going on our holiday. So we excitedly typed up our email and we sent it off, and we said we'd like some still and gassy water for the fridge, and some dark chocolate for me and some milk chocolate for my husband. And it really helped to confirm that the choice of the hotel that we had made had been a good one. And when we arrived, we weren't disappointed. The staff were super, and the hotel was absolutely lovely. And the service levels were excellent, and in all areas of the hotel for the duration of the holiday. And upon leaving, and we were checking out, and we were treated again to another example of that excellent service. The hotel receptionist asked if everything was to our satisfaction, then offered us some still and gassy water and dark and milk chocolate for our journey. Well, we were blown away by this, and it was already sitting there on the receptionist counter for us just to take with us. They'd taken the extra time to reread our requirements and they personalised the service. And again, like Chris has experienced, that smallest of actions had that biggest of impact on us. The hotel had taken 2 minutes to reread what our initial requirements were, and maintained that level of service right through to the end of our exchange. And we will certainly be recommending the hotel to others. And actually, we're going to stay there again next year. And this time when they ask us what we'd like in our fridge, we've decided on some Moët Chandon and some fine caviar. But like Chris, I'm going to be telling this story for a few years to come. And if I ever do return to Milan, I'll certainly book the same hotel, because they've sealed our loyalty with their excellent service. So as you can see from the very small example and the sample of the team, that I've worked with, service excellence means different things to different people. But I think we can all agree it's when we are treated well, a healthy exchange has taken place, our expectations have been met or exceeded, and the experience has left an impression on us. Excuse me while I change slide. So how about the service exceptional experience? As I said, for me, service excellence is when the service is personalised, and it's when the expectations are exceeded, and I leave the exchange feeling good and I'm in a happy place. I've had a nice time during the experience, and I've really enjoyed myself. But what about the exceptional experience? What could make a service even sweeter and help to deliver an exceptional service? Well, I've got another wee story to demonstrate, as I had what I regard as an exceptional experience recently, and let me share it with you. In March earlier this year, I travelled down to London, TOPdesk's top table event. Can everyone hear okay? This mic is cutting out. Is it still okay? Yeah. So I travelled down to London to the TOPdesk Top Table event, and it was in world-famous Gherkin building. And it was an absolutely super day. And it was set in a beautiful location, attended by a small and interesting group of people. And to top it all off, we were completely spoiled by the food, the excellent service, received from the TOPdesk staff and the Gherkin staff. And there were no complaints whatsoever. And it was an excellent service experience. However, later that day, I was travelling back home to Scotland, and I was flying out from London City Airport. And I don't know if you've been, but it's a super little airport, and it's really easy to navigate. And I passed through security without any issues. And I decided to have a little browse in the duty-free shop. And the airport was very busy that evening, and there was very few seats, so browsing the shop was a good option. And I spotted a really nice bottle of red wine, and it was on special offer. So I decided to buy some for my husband. And I got to the checkout, and I realised that I didn't have my travel documents folder any longer. And the documents folder contained my airline ticket, my Edinburgh parking ticket, but it also contained my passport. And I started to get a wee bit flustered, and I started to rethink my steps and trying to trace back and figure out where the folder could be and what I had actually done with it. And it didn't take me long before I realised I needed it to come through security, and I hadn't stopped anywhere else. So I started to make my way back to the security area. Of course, as I'm making my way back, my panic levels are beginning to rise because I'm thinking, what if it can't be found? What if I don't get it back? So I'm just approaching the security area, and this lovely lady, really lovely, big cheery smile, she looked right directly at me, and she pointed, she went, "You're Lorraine Brown, and you've come to get your travel documents." She had a Scottish accent. And she just continued right on. She says, "I have them right here, Pet. You left them in the container." She says, "I've been keeping an eye out for you because I knew you'd be a bit worried." And she then walked me over to where the documents folder was, and she went through it so I could check that everything was still in order. And I was just moved right away by her actions. I knew she just wanted to take care of me. And she just wanted to assure me and make sure that I felt okay and that I would get home just fine. So I started on the long line of, "Oh, thank you very much. Oh, I'm so grateful." And she just kept on being absolutely lovely and reassuring me that, "Oh, this is a common occurrence. Don't worry about it," and wished me a safe journey home. And for me, this was an exceptional experience because the lady had assessed the situation, and she knew the owner of the folder would be flustered. And she used that knowledge, and she drew upon her own experiences of managing similar situations. And she also drew on some of her life experiences, and she adapted her service level to make sure I was completely assured and taken care of. So her service level adapted to the situation at hand. And I actually felt really grateful that I lost the documents on her shift. So I flew into London City Airport again when I went down to the London Sea event, and I handed in a letter to the security area to thank them again and to tell them about my previous experience travelling home and to feed back on the exceptional experience. And the chap was absolutely wonderful, and he was blown away that I had taken the time to write the letter. But again, though, the lady's smallest action had that biggest of impact. For me, this lady's service delivery level was set to exceptional, and I really believe that she works at that level at all times. So this brings me on to my thoughts on service delivery levels. Through the stories, we've briefly touched upon 2 levels of service delivery, and we've heard how they have impacted on us and how they in turn affect us. And as we know, how a service is delivered is very powerful. It has the capacity to shape our opinion of a whole organisation. And it affects how we talk about that organisation, and it forms how we in turn shape and mould our stories to tell about that. So getting it right is hugely significant. And I have one last wee story to demonstrate yet another service delivery experience I also had recently. And I call this one, oh, sorry, I forgot to change a slide. The service expired experience. I was on a training course recently, and there was 10 other people on the training course with me. And the training was being held in an organisation that had a floor, and there was 5 training suites on that floor. And there was a large kitchen facility that was there to service for the coffee and tea breaks for all of the training that was going on. And each of the training sessions held were allocated time periods for their breaks, with each given a 15-minute period to access the kitchen for coffee and tea, or just fill your water bottles, or even just have a seat away from the classroom. So our allocated morning tea break was between 11 and 11:15. But about 10 to 11, the trainer had reached a point in the course that really lended itself better to stopping at that point for a coffee, and we could pick up the new chapter when we came back in. And we all felt the same. No one thought any more about it, so we broke for our 15-minute coffee break. It was quite a heavy course, and some of us were in great need of a coffee at that time, so we made our way along to the kitchen. And as we entered, we said hello to 2 other people who were sitting at one of the tables having a cup of tea and chatting away. And the coffee machine in the kitchen was one of those fancy types, you know, you select your sachet, you put it in, you press a button, and all you have to do is pick up your cup of coffee and enjoy. So just as we were making our selections from the rather large menu of coffee choices, the member of staff who looks after the training area and the kitchen facilities came in. And she says, you're going to have to leave the kitchen because your break isn't due until 11 o'clock, so I'm afraid you're out with your allocated time. And we all sort of looked at each other and we thought, well, you know, there was only 2 people using the facility, so we really didn't see any reason for us not to be able to use it at that time as well. So we explained to the lady that we had reached a point in the course that lended itself better to stopping now. And we asked if we could just quickly get our coffee and take it back to the classroom with us. And the member of staff, she was nice, but she was very firm, and she wouldn't be swayed from her schedule. Even when one member of the class asked if they could fill their water bottle and take it back to the classroom, she was reminded again that yes, she could in 10 minutes' time during her allocated time slot. So this is what I call the expired service experience, because although a service was being delivered, it wasn't a good service. And for me, I felt that this member of staff, I didn't think that she felt that what she did in her job added any service value. And for me, I didn't feel that she felt accountable for her actions with the service delivery and the impression that that was going to leave upon us. So the course we were on, it was actually over 2 days. And on the second morning, we were the only classroom that was being occupied on the level, but not one of us broke the rules. We didn't go for our coffee until 11 o'clock. But neither did any of us talk highly of the service. We would all just roll our eyes to the ceiling and say how ridiculous we thought that the rules were. So for me, this person's service delivery level was set incorrectly, and it wasn't tailored, and it wasn't set with a service-based focus. So how can we move to look at moving Our Lady from delivering the expired experience of the training course to match that of the Ladies London City Airport exceptional service delivery, and also help create a culture of service excellence within our own organisations? Oh, I better not forget this time. So I call this the toolbox. And as everyone knows, there's varying tools available to help organisations create a culture of service excellence, and many are really very effective. Creating and investing in organisational service level agreements is one, and they can really help to lay the foundations of developing that all-important service focus culture. And investing in training for staff, and especially in courses in service delivery and service excellence and good customer service, And also investing in training shows value in your staff as you're investing in them, and often staff can feel undervalued and unappreciated if these investments don't take place. Then we could have maybe some actions that are a bit under par, and maybe a bit like the lady on the training course. An event such as this, where we're all talking about the services, and the services delivery is absolutely super. And hopefully we'll all go back to our organisations after today feeling a bit more charged and have a few ideas to take back with us on how to move our own service delivery onwards a wee bit again. And sending your members of staff along to these events displays also an investment in them and in service delivery. And at the London event, there was actually 4 of us from Edinburgh who attended. But it's also quite an exciting time for us in the University of Edinburgh, as our fairly new CIO is introducing a drive on service-based culture. And he's doing that across the whole of the IS department. There's over 600 of us in IT alone. And he's bringing in new roles of service owners and service operation managers. Often in IT, and especially in Edinburgh, the big organisations and older organisations, we have what you would know as, what everyone knows is more often a technical-based culture, where their focus is more on the technical availability rather than the service focus. So creating the service-based culture will really help us to keep a focus on the services and the service delivery. And also, I feel it's really important to have this drive from the top down, as it's hugely important for us little people below to know that our senior management have bought into this and really bought into the service culture, and will be supporting us and welcoming our views and our ideas and drive on this. However, I really do believe that the most powerful tool in the toolbox when it comes to service delivery, given an excellent or even exceptional service every time, and it aids in creating that all-important, healthy service culture, is us as individuals, and setting our own personal level agreements. I'm forever reviewing my own service level agreement. I've had my personal SLA in place with myself for a very long time now, and it comes into play in all aspects of my life. At work, my SLA is based on the professional level that I strive to work to. It's really, really very important to me that the people I work and I interact with enjoy that interaction and enjoy the engagement. It's important, as I want my colleagues and peers to value the work that I do, and I want them to respect me, and I want them to trust me, and I want them to feel that they can rely on me, and I want them to know that I will help them when I can. And I just want people to know that I do really want to engage with them and that I do care. And I want to be happy at my work, and I want to make it a place that I want to be at. So as we heard earlier, the smallest of actions, it has the biggest of impact. And I try to bring this into my own actions, and I use this to continually review my own personal SLA. My London City experience, airport experience, it left a big impact on me, and I learned again from this, and it's a type of impact that I would like my actions to have on others. So this thinking helps to keep me focused on my actions and on my service levels. So, what is it about the people who deliver the exceptional service? What is it that makes them want to go that extra step further and to have the big impact on their service delivery and the consumers of that? And I really do think it's simply because they really do care about the overall service. I think those people care about the effect the service and their actions have on others, and I'm not saying that people don't care, or the lady who delivered the expired experience doesn't care. I'm sure she does. But our focus on the service was not switched to that same level of focus as the exceptional lady at London City Airport. And I believe that raising awareness of the personal SLA and setting those agreements with ourselves is a powerful way of highlighting how we are all accountable for our actions towards one another and all the services that we are involved with. And it's this kind of thinking that would maybe help our training course lady adjust her focus, and subsequently her actions. I also think that we need to work at generating working environments that make people want to take care of others. And I really believe that this influences what we do, and it encourages that tiniest extra action towards each other to take place. And again, we've seen it's the smallest of actions that have the biggest of impact. As I said, I recently joined the University of Edinburgh, so I've come in from the outside with a fresh set of eyes, if you like. And I have to say it's an amazing organisation, but to be honest, the size of the institution, it does overwhelm me at times. I've never worked in an organisation that size or that complex before. We've got over 12,000 members of staff and over 50,000 students. But I'm trying to use this new experience to apply further tuning to my own skill set. And I'm learning a whole lot about myself, which is a whole new presentation. But after a short time working at the university, I attended a meeting between the frontline service desk team and the team I work with in second line, the service management team. And this meeting takes place monthly, and it was called Service Issues. And it's where the operational team members meet to discuss the monthly issues. And it's with a view to resolving those and to discuss them further and to really share the information between the teams. So this is a meeting between first and second line support, operational teams, which I just thought was absolutely brilliant. And during my first meeting, I just sat and I observed the meeting format and what issues were being raised and the discussions that were going on round about me. And it was all very interesting. But at times, I could feel a level of frustration around the room and a sense of tension when certain long-term issues were being discussed. And the frustrations came from both teams, and they were centred around the issues and not really the people, although at times this could spill over towards the people. And although I found it refreshing that these meetings were taking place and that the discussions were happening, I also felt that the focus was maybe not the best that it could be. And I noticed that my colleagues around me seemed a wee bit agitated and they didn't seem to be enjoying themselves. So after the meeting, I approached one of the guys on my team and I asked what his thoughts were on the meeting. And he felt that it could be improved, as he did feel that a lot of the discussion time was spent around the long-term issues. And he was absolutely spot on. And I agreed entirely. And what came from that discussion was a suggestion that we change the name of the meeting from Service Issues to Service Solutions. We wanted to change the focus of the meeting. Oh, sorry, I better hurry up and take it to a happier place. So everyone involved was very open to the idea, and we changed the name of the meeting to Service Solutions. And issues were still discussed, but we spent less time doing so. And it was a small action, but it was having a big impact. And my observations now tell me that the people are enjoying the meetings a bit more, and the service delivery from both teams is solutions-focused. Last slide. So my ideas, my thoughts, and my beliefs about achieving service excellence or achieving the service excellence experience is to work hard to create an excellent service culture environment. And I think that one of the main building blocks in helping to shape that culture and environment is to start to work with ourselves. We can decide, firstly, what levels we want to work at and what level we shall set our own SLAs to. And we can start to observe ourselves and our actions and working environments and listen to everything that's going on around us. And then we can start to use the information to help set and tailor our own SLAs to excellent or exceptional, but hopefully never ever expired. Many of us already have our SLAs in place, and like mine, they just need continually fine-tuning. Before I go, I have one short little story for you. A few weeks ago, one of my colleagues noticed that I was looking a bit stressed, and I was running around like mad, and I was looking a bit flustered. And she said, "Lorraine, you are always running around." She's Spanish. "You are always running around. You have to learn to say no, and not to say no sometimes, and not take so much on." And she said this because she cared, and she was really concerned about me. And I have heard this statement before from others, and I have always replied with, "Yes, I know," and yes, I will, but I knowing that I won't. But this time, I stopped and I thought about it a wee bit more. And I realised that I really didn't want to say no. A lot of my busyness is because I get approached and I'm asked if I can help out with a situation or a meeting, etc. So I'm trying to fit these extra tasks in around my other work, but I don't want to turn people away if they need some help and say no, as that would upset me because it's not who I am either. So I've concluded that what I need to do is to learn how to adapt better to my new working environment so that I can still help, but in a way that allows me to fit it all in somehow to my working day. And as I said, I'm processing my new role working in a very large organisation, a complex organisation, to learn more about myself. And for me, this is one of these learning moments, and it looks like I'm going to have to make another bit of fine-tuning to my SLA. And I've concluded that I need to look at this resetting my response times to the requests that I receive. I will always be looking at how I might be able to help improve things and shift habits and change focus. And I use my own experiences to tailor my own service delivery. It's just part of my behaviour, and I strive to adapt and learn from the varying situations that I encounter. And I always want to try and deliver an exceptional service level and aspire to be like the lady at London City Airport. And I work hard on this, and I hope that my actions have a happy and healthy and positive effect on others around me, and that they can learn something from me as I learn from them. And I hope that I deliver my service with a smile and it's made a wee bit sweeter. Thank you very much for your time, and I don't think we've got any other time for questions or comments, but thank you.